So I was getting ready to tape with the Honorable Raphael Warnock, the senator from Georgia, and he caught me with my dog because Senator, I had not seen my dogs for a while because they tried to lock me up.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Well,
you're a huge dog person too, right?
I love dogs. I grew up with dogs, and I have to tell you, seeing you with yours warms my heart because I often say that I walked a beagle named Alvin into the United States Senate. It's one of my most popular ads during both of my elections. Every time they tried to turn me into something that I'm not, I just
Right.
kept walking. I kept walking with Alvin, and I walked him all the way into the U.S. Senate.
Yeah. Well,
Truly,
this is
man's best friend.
It is. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're a dog person, and um, this is real life. These are the things like when someone tries to take your freedom, you think about those things. I was thinking about I can't wait to get home to play with my dogs and to love on them. And now I'm here, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So thank you so much. Can we talk about that for a moment? When you first heard about what happened, what was your reaction, sir?
Well, I was deeply concerned. And first of all, how are you doing? Because I was thinking about you. You know, Don, before I got into this work, I was a pastor and I still am. I still serve my church. How are you doing, if I might ask?
I'm doing okay. When people have asked me about that, and I say, I don't know. I don't know if it's adrenaline. I tell people I'm a soldier because I came from a long line of, as James Baldwin said, long line of pet of what's the thing? So sorry, I just lost my train of thought. A peasant stock, a long line of peasant stock who dug dams and built bridges, and in the teeth of the most terrifying odds, attain an unassailable dignity. And so I come from enslaved people who have gone through a lot, and a lot of shoulders I stand on. So I stand on that. But these are still serious charges. These are criminal charges, as you know, they're federal charges. So I just worry about the people who are in charge, who could be in charge of my freedom in the Justice Department, and they are not good people. They're not Constitution following people. They're not law abiding people in my judgment, and I don't believe they're God fearing people. So that's my concern right now.
Well, I pray for your continued strength and grace to you as you come to terms with all that has happened. But I'm praying even harder for our country. Uh, uh, Journalism is the fourth estate. We've got three co-equal branches of government. And as someone who serves in public life, journalists ask you questions and sometimes they can get a little under your skin, but that comes with the territory.
Right.
And what we have seen from the Trump Vance regime consistently is an assault on journalists, who are the ones who are helping us to see what's happening, not only in Minneapolis, but all across the country. I think all Americans should be deeply concerned.
Yes, and I thank you for your support. Why do you think that is? Have they ever read the Bill of Rights? Why are they so concerned about journalists just documenting the truth?
Well, truth and light is an antiseptic. And what we're seeing in this moment is not only journalists, we're seeing ordinary citizens on the streets documenting what's happening. Think for a moment what would happen if we didn't have the video from what happened to Renee Good, the video of what happened to Alex Preddy. Because we heard the story, they immediately turned Alex Preddy into some kind of domestic terrorist. They said that he was brandishing a firearm. Well, he did have a firearm on him that he was licensed to carry. And we all saw the video. The only thing he brandished was a camera phone. And so clearly they feel much more threatened by the camera than they did about almost anything else. And so this is deeply concerning. But if we didn't have that video, they would be telling a very, very different story. And it would be hard to push back. And if they're telling us these kinds of lies when we have the video showing something different, imagine the lies that they're telling us with respect to the things that we can't see.
You were you brought up that you are a pastor as well, and I think that folks are trying to balance on this. At least that's what they're saying: balance the right to freedom of speech and the right to worship. And you have a unique perspective on that. And I think that's where you were going, but I'm not sure if we maybe we can follow up a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, look, I believe in the freedom of speech. I believe in the freedom to worship and the freedom to assemble. And not only do I have a perspective on this as a pastor, I can tell you that as the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Martin Luther King Jr. served, that's a church that has in its DNA protest and the power of citizens raising their voices. On the other hand, because it's such a high profile church, I can tell you that I personally know what it's like to have people come in the church or onto the grounds of the church and protest in some way. And I've had people do that on the left and on the right. As a pastor, it's not something you care to see on a Sunday morning. You're worshiping. You've got a sermon you're delivering. But I've never had any of the protesters arrested. I may have had them removed from the church so we can continue with our service, and certainly have not and would not have journalists arrested. I'd be interested to hear from these pastors if they want to see a journalist arrested protecting, in their name. That's not something I would want to see as a pastor.
Why wouldn't you want to have journalists or protesters arrested?
Because here's what preachers and journalists have in common. Our work is to seek the truth and to speak the truth, which makes all of us better. And so the last thing I would want as a pastor is to have journalists arrested and to have the state to be able to claim that they're doing that for me. That's not a service to me. I want journalists to speak the truth and to chase after truth, because as a pastor, as a preacher, I'm in the truth-telling business. That's the work that I do every single day, every Sunday. I'm trying to speak truth, and often I'm trying to speak truth to power. And in this case, you have people in power who are trying to undermine the ability of us to see the truth. And I certainly wouldn't want that done in my church's name. That's a favor I don't need the government to do for me.
As this is all happening, during the same time, or at least close to the same time, you had federal agents raiding an election storage facility. Correct me if I'm wrong. In Forsyth County, Georgia. You are the senator from Georgia. There were
we had a federal raid by the FBI into Fulton County, Georgia, which is a bright blue district. They are demanding yet another look at ballots that have been counted time and time again. Like, this is not a new issue. These ballots have been counted so many times that some of my friends jokingly say regarding that election in 2020 that they counted those ballots so many times that Joe Biden was the 46th, 47th, and 48th president of the United States. This has been tested in court, and Democrats and Republicans alike know that this is a settled issue. But Donald Trump is using old debunked conspiracy theories regarding the 2020 election as a pretext for undermining the midterms in 2026. That's what this is about. He raided, and it's right to say he raided the Fulton County Board of Elections. And I say this because we now have reporting that while the raid was going on, Kristi Noem, who's the director of national intelligence, why is she even there in the first place? She gets the president on the phone. He's
Tulsi
talking
Gabbard.
to
Tulsi Gabbard, not
Tulsi,
Christine.
Tulsi Gabbard. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard is on the ground. That's correct. Tulsi Gabbard is on the ground. She calls the president. He then talks to line agents who are on the ground, ordinary FBI agents, about this. So this is Donald Trump's raid on Fulton County, the same state that he called requesting 11,000 votes in 2020 in order to flip the election. And this is the same administration that's saying to the people of Minneapolis, if you want to end the occupation in Minneapolis, turn over your voter rolls. These are the maneuverings of an authoritarian. And in the name of who we say we are as the world's greatest democracy, All Americans have to reject this. Democrats, Republicans, independents, all Americans have to say no to this.
You have seen where the president saying that he wants to nationalize elections and he wants to have Republicans take over, I believe, the elections, either in several places in the country, if not nationally, and Minnesota as well. I asked Nancy Pelosi this, the Honorable Nancy Pelosi, when I saw her this past weekend, and she said she believes there's going to be an election in 2026, a fair one for the midterms. I'm not so sure about that, but given everything that we have just talked about, where is this going, and will there be a free and fair election in 2026 and beyond?
Listen, these are the maneuverings of a desperate man. Donald Trump knows that the American people are rejecting his policies. He's broken promises. We're seeing rank corruption. We're seeing violence against ordinary Americans on neighborhood streets. And the people can see this. There was reporting just this morning that we had some 200,000 Georgians drop out of the Affordable Care Act because of Republican policies that have made their health care unaffordable. And so he knows that people are going to hold him accountable come November. And he's trying to slant the playing field. It will not stand. What he is doing is extreme, but voter suppression is not new. We have seen this before, and we've certainly seen it in the state of Georgia. I saw it in my own election. And our response to that was to continue to raise the issues, to mobilize voters, to educate voters, and ultimately it's the people who corrected this problem by turning out and showing up. And that's what's going to happen in November. We're going to fire all of the people that are aiding and abetting this authoritarian march in our country.
Who gets the House and the Senate?
Oh, listen, I'm not going to turn into a pundit. I'm a preacher and a senator. That's enough jobs for me, Don Lemon. But we're going to hold them accountable in November. I promise you that.
Thank you, Senator Warnock. Thank you for appearing on the program. We hope that you come back, and thank you for your support. It really does mean everything. And thank you for being a dog lover.
Indeed. Strength and blessings to you and your family, brother.
You as well. Thank you. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.